Welcome to the fascinating world of startups, a space where creativity and ambition collide with uncertainty, and where bold, often untested ideas can spark revolutions that reshape entire industries. When people think about startups, they usually imagine flashy founders, rapid growth, and stories of billion-dollar exits. But beneath the surface lies a more complex and nuanced reality. Startups are not just about technology or apps. They are about searching for answers in a world filled with unknowns, about testing assumptions, and about striving to transform small sparks of inspiration into scalable, sustainable engines of change. This journey is thrilling, but it is also grueling, filled with risks, myths, and harsh truths that every aspiring entrepreneur must face. As we move through this presentation, I want you to think of startups not simply as companies, but as experiments in solving human problems at scale. Let's start by grounding ourselves in what a startup actually is. A startup is often misunderstood as just any new business, but that's not quite accurate. The definition that has stood the test of time is this: a startup is a temporary organization designed to search for a scalable and repeatable business model. The key word here is search. Unlike established companies, startups are not built to simply operate and generate steady revenue in their current form. Instead, they are built to discover. They are looking for something that works, not just once, but over and over, and ideally in a way that can expand exponentially. There are several defining elements here. First, scalability. Startups are designed with growth potential that far exceeds that of traditional small businesses. Second, they are characterized by high growth ambition, aiming not for incremental progress, but for breakthrough expansion. Third, startups operate under conditions of extreme uncertainty. They have no proven roadmap, no guaranteed playbook to follow. Every step is a test. And finally, the ultimate goal of every startup is to find product market fit, that sweet spot where the product resonates so strongly with customers that growth begins to compound before they run out of resources, whether that's time, energy, or money. Now let's dig deeper into the DNA of startups by looking at their core characteristics. The first is rapid experimentation. Startups live and die by their ability to test ideas quickly, gather feedback from the market, and iterate. They rarely get it right the first time. Instead, they thrive by moving fast, breaking down what doesn't work, and pivoting toward what does. Second, startups operate under severe resource constraints. They almost never have unlimited funds, personnel, your infrastructure. This scarcity, however, often sparks extraordinary creativity and scrappiness. Entrepreneurs are forced to solve problems in novel, cost effective ways, and that scrappy mindset can become a competitive advantage. Third, startups are fundamentally high risk, high reward. The possibility of failure looms large, yet the potential upside is massive. If they succeed, they can generate outsized returns for founders, employees, and investors, and sometimes transform entire industries. Fourth, startups are engines of cross industry innovation. They don't just stick to traditional tech sectors. Today, we see startups revolutionizing healthcare, agriculture, finance, logistics, and even space exploration. Their disruptive potential extends across every domain of human activity. And finally, startups are built to scale. From the ground up, their architecture is designed for exponential growth. This means their processes, technologies, and business models must be able to expand quickly without collapsing under the pressure. Startups are surrounded by myths, many of which distort reality for new founders. Let's take a moment to bust a few of them. Myth number one: a startup is just a small business. The truth is that while both startups and small businesses begin small, Their intentions differ radically. A small business is designed for stability and often serves a local or regional market. A startup, in contrast, is defined by its focus on growth and scalability. It's not about staying small, it's about scaling as far and fast as possible. Myth number two, you need the perfect idea. In reality, ideas are just the starting point, they evolve constantly. What matters more than the initial spark is the ability to adapt, execute, and refine the concept in response to real world feedback. Myth number three, success comes down to luck. While timing and serendipity play a role, startups that succeed almost always do so because of disciplined execution, market awareness, and relentless iteration. Luck favors the prepared mind, but preparation is the true driver. Myth number four, funding guarantees success. Many assume that once a startup secures funding, success is assured. In fact, history is full of examples where well funded startups failed spectacularly. The ultimate determinant of success is not money, but product market fit. Without that alignment, no amount of capital will save the venture. This brings us to one of the most important distinctions in the entrepreneurial world, the difference between a startup and a small business. Small businesses typically generate stable, predictable revenue. They are rooted in proven business models and grow incrementally over time. Their markets are often local or regional, and their funding comes from self financing or traditional loans. Startups, on the other hand, aim for rapid exponential growth. They build for global scalability from day one. Their models are unproven, often disruptive, and designed to challenge the status quo. They attract venture capital and other forms of high risk investment precisely because of their growth potential. And here lies the key insight: venture capitalists invest in startups, not small businesses. The scalability, the ability to capture massive markets, is what makes startups attractive to investors and sets them apart from other forms of enterprise. Of course, the glamour of startups often overshadows the harsh realities. The truth is sobering. Around 90% of startups fail within their first 3 years. The top reason for failure is surprisingly simple: no market need. Roughly 70% of startups collapse because they build products that customers don't actually want. In other words, they solve problems that don't matter. Even the ones that succeed rarely get it right the first time. On average, successful startups pivot 3 times before they discover the right path forward. That means they must embrace resilience in the face of rejection, adaptability when plans crumble, and continuous learning from failures. Every stumble becomes a stepping stone. The startup journey is therefore a balancing act. Every decision requires weighing bold vision against hard evidence from the market. Founders must learn to live in tension, constantly asking, is this a leap of faith worth taking, or do we need to adjust course? That tension never truly disappears, even as the company grows. The rewards are immense for those who persevere. Successful startups don't just generate wealth, they can transform industries, uplift communities, and change lives on a global scale. But the risks are real and the road is anything but easy. The startup world is a paradox. It's thrilling and terrifying, inspiring and unforgiving. It offers incredible opportunities for those willing to embrace uncertainty, but it demands resilience, creativity, and adaptability at every turn. If you choose this path, remember, it is not about starting small and staying small. It is about searching for scalable solutions, testing ideas in the real world, and pivoting relentlessly until you find product market fit. And most importantly, it is about recognizing that while the odds may be stacked against you, the impact of success can be transformative, not just for you, but for entire industries and societies. That is the true power of startups.